Hey guys, this video is going to be pretty short, and that's because I'm really not interested in doing current movie reviews right now. I wanted to give my thoughts on Dunkirk and something to tide you over, but as it stands now, I'm really interested in doing more creative things that are unique to me, like my film workshop series. So this is just a brief video to tide you over, but currently I'm working on some really great film workshop content that I'm very proud of, and my short film, which should be out in the fall. So stay tuned for that stuff, and here is this video, Dunkirk. I'm talking about Dunkirk. Alright, so Dunkirk. I wanted to see this movie again before I reviewed it to see if my opinions would change, and for the most part, they didn't. The trouble with Dunkirk is that all of its flaws, with quotation marks, were the things that the director intended. This movie is exactly the film that Christopher Nolan wanted it to be. It lives up to its aspirations beautifully, and when you think about how Nolan wanted it to be more of a cinematic experience than a story per se, it's pretty much exactly that. Because of this, the trouble with criticizing Dunkirk is that because it's exactly what Nolan wanted it to be, there's a reason for why the director made all the choices that I dislike. There are really no mistakes here, objectively speaking, because everything was pretty much intentional. So, for instance, the characters in this film are largely underdeveloped, and it can be hard to invest or care about them. But you could say that Nolan intended it to be that way because the film is more of a depiction of an event than a character's personal story in that event. So there's a reason why Nolan made that choice. It's just that personally, I don't really buy that reason. I would much rather get a film about characters than a film about spectacle or an event. I also don't think this film needed to be told non-linearly. To me, it just feels unnecessary and gimmicky, like Nolan wanted to make something different for the sake of different. And in some cases, I do feel like it detracts from the overall flow of the film. But it's hard to criticize that element either because Nolan intended for it to be what it is. If a movie is exactly what the director wanted it to be, are the problems I have with the film just my personal preferences? You know, maybe they are. Technically speaking, Dunkirk is a masterpiece. Everything about it, from the breakneck ticking clock score, I've already bought it on iTunes, to the almost black and white cinematography, to the amazing practical effects, it all works together to create a very cinematic and synchronized big picture. And as a cinematic spectacle, which is what Nolan wanted this to be, it's near perfect. It's just that maybe, just maybe, I wanted something more than spectacle to get me invested in the story. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will be back with more Film Workshop episodes and video essays in the next few weeks. Oh, and thanks to all the patrons over at Patreon. You guys are awesome.